What's up, kiddos of the 6th grade? We're doing lesson 3.5, okay? That is called absolute value. Now, I know we've never done this before, okay? But bear with me and we will figure it out, okay? I promise you this is one of those that it's a lot easier than what it looks, okay? All right, let's start. It says the absolute value is a number of the number's distance from 0 on a number line. So the absolute value of -3 is 3. As you can see right there, they have this number line and they had like 3 little things going, 3 little loops, I don't know what, going to the -3. All they're saying is how far is a number from 0, okay? Which really means that any number, okay, that is in the little lines that mean absolute value, you'll see what I'm talking about soon, is always going to be the same number, okay? So like right there, if I have -3, okay, it's always going to be 3 spaces from 0. So this is what the absolute value lines look like. In math, whenever you see these guys, that means absolute value. Okay, so how many spots is -3 away from 0? It's gonna be 3. Okay, same thing here. If I do -5, it's gonna be 5. If I do +6, it's gonna be 6. Okay, if I do +1 million, okay, it's gonna be a million because it's a million little loops until 0, okay? Whatever the number is, it's always going to be the same number. It's kind of like that weird one that we had that one time of the opposite where they were trying to throw us off. Weird. This is all absolute value is, okay? You're just finding the same number. Later on, things will get more complicated when they put a negative on the outside, but even then, guys, that's kind of like saying the opposite of the opposite. So anyway, whatever. Now that you understand that, we can get started. Okie dokie. So it says, in 1934, a cargo ship called the Mohican, I don't know, sank off the coast of Florida. Divers today can visit the ship at an elevation of -32 feet. Use a number line to find the absolute value of -32. Now, we have that wonderful number line that y'all know I can't do a straight line, so don't judge me. So we had over here is 0, they have like a -10, they have a -20, and they have a -30. Yeah, so it'll be right underneath -30. Because remember, if we're going this way, all the -30s are between this and -40. Okay? And then I guess they had 50, but I couldn't fit it on my line. So remember what I said? Absolute value of anything. Well, how many spaces is it to 0? We have the absolute value of -32. It's going to be 32. Look at that, +32. So that's what you're going to write there. We are going to skip numbers 1 and 2, so don't worry about that. Second page, y'all. Let's see what it says. It says a food scientist tested a new dog food on 5 dogs. Each dog's weight was monitored during the course of the test. The results are shown on the table. Positive values indicate weight gains in pounds. Negative values indicate weight losses in pounds. All right, it says, graph the weight changes on the number line, then find their absolute values. You guys get really confused when we have to graph fractions, so I'm going to tell you, don't worry about the graphing, all right? I just want us to find the absolute values of these, okay? You ready? Okay, so the first one is -5/8. Remember, absolute value of any number is just the positive form of that number, so it's just going to be 5/8. Okay, next is -1 and 7/16. Okay, again, they're trying to treat us like we're dumb. We are not dumb. This is just 1 and 7/16. Positive, okay? The next one is +2 and 1/8. Well, it's just 2 and 1/8. And the last one is -3/8. Well, that's just 3/8. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Awesome. So go ahead and skip number 3 where it says explain. All right, last one, guys. It says example 2. Find all integers, which remember is just a fancy math word for numbers, okay, with an absolute value of 7. Now remember, it doesn't matter if a number is positive or if it's negative, the absolute value is always the same. So for this one, same thing. We're gonna have 2 answers of what it could be, because either way, whether it's positive 7 or negative 7, the absolute value will always be 7, okay? So let me show you. If we had negative 7, okay, and if we had 7, it would always just be 7. It's the same answer because it's the same spaces away from 0. Just because one is on one side and the other one is on the other side doesn't mean that the spaces are not the same, okay? So again, if they were to ask you what numbers or all the numbers that could give you the absolute value of, I don't know, let's do half, okay? It's gonna be positive half and negative half, okay? So you would write down half and negative half, okay? If I wanted the absolute value to be, let's do 14, okay? It's gonna be positive 14 and negative 14, okay? You understand what I'm saying? However many spaces it takes you to get to 0, it doesn't matter if the number is positive or if it's negative, those are your answers of what it could be, okay? Now it says, Paula says that there are always 2 numbers that are given absolute value. Is she correct? Well, kind of, okay? Now remember, with all of these, yes, there are 2 of them, but what happens if we try to graph 0? Tricky, tricky, tricky. If you try to do 0, there are 0 spots to get to 0. So not always, and there's no positive and there's no negative 0, so it's just 0. As long as you understand that, then just go ahead and put a smiley face. I'm not gonna have you write it down, okay? So now it's time for your share and show. I think you guys will be fine with the whole lesson. I don't see a problem with you guys finishing any of it. There's no hot problem that's too hard, nothing like that. If you guys need help with anything, please, 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 please reach out, okay? And that way I can help you. We could do a one-on-one tutoring session, whatever you need. I'm here for you guys. All right, y'all. See you later. Okay, so for my parents out there, this is a quick explanation of absolute value. And I'm going to do this part bilingual so that way all my parents can understand. Voy a hacer esta parte de repaso para los padres bilingüe para que ustedes entiendan también. Hoy vamos a hacer valores absolutos, así se llama en español. Y lo que voy a hacer es que voy a hacer como un repaso muy corto para ustedes. So the biggest thing that I was trying to explain to the kids is that with absolute values, it's just points to get to 0. Lo que les quería explicar a los niños, el concepto más grande es que valor absoluto son solo los puntos para llegar a 0. So normally there are 2 numbers that can give you the absolute value. Normalmente hay 2 números que nos dan el valor absoluto. It's the positive and the negative version of that number. Es la versión positiva y negativa de ese número. So for example, any number, okay, if I wanted to do, let's say, what gives us the absolute value 32, okay? Por ejemplo, si yo quiero encontrar cuáles números nos da el valor absoluto 32, well, it would be 32 and negative 32. Okay, sería positivo 32 y negativo 32. With all of those, the biggest thing that they're seeing right now is that these little lines mean absolute value. Con esta lección, el concepto más grande o más nuevo para ellos es que estas 2 liñitas significa el valor absoluto. So the very first one that they started with was actually 32. El primer número que actualmente comenzamos fue 32. Nos dijo, encuentra el valor absoluto de 32 en forma negativa. The very first thing that they gave us to do was find the absolute value of negative 32. Now, I told the kids that absolute values are always the positive version of the number that's inside. Yo les dije a los niños que El valor absoluto es siempre la versión positiva del número que está adentro de las liñitas. So for this one, the positive version of negative 32 is just 32. Para esta, la versión positiva de negativo 32 es pues 32. That's your answer. Esa es la respuesta. And that's it. It's really that simple. Y eso es todo. Realmente es tan simple. Please reach out if you didn't understand this, if you need to rewatch the video, if you need an extra explanation, whatever it is. I'm always here. Por favor, mándame un mensaje para que podamos coordinar, para que yo les explique más. Si no entendieron, pueden repasar este video, lo que sea. Yo siempre estoy aquí a la orden. All right. Peace and blessings, 6th grade parents. Paz y bendiciones, padres del 6º grado.